What's going on, everyone? So, now that we know Lauri Markkanen is re-signing with the Utah Jazz, and we got the reports now flooding in, giving us updates and details on a potential, or what would have been a potential Golden State Warriors trade. So, for Shams, Moses Moody, multiple first-round picks, pick swaps, and second-rounders that the Golden State Warriors refused to offer Brandon Podziemski. Now, this was the final offer for Lauri Markkanen from the Golden State Warriors, that they again refused to add Pod, that they would only do Moses Moody, and then a pick-heavy package. And then this was reportedly the final offer in which they were willing to give in exchange for Lauri Markkanen. And then also, per Bobby Marks, the Warriors and Jazz were never close on a deal surrounding Lauri Markkanen. Again, this is per Bobby Marks. One source told ESPN the Warriors have been very protective of second-year guard Brandon Podziemski. The Golden State Warriors has also not indicated an inclination to meet the Jazz high threshold for draft compensation in return. So, kind of seems like, even through all the smoke and everything, that the Warriors were never truly serious about going and acquiring Lauri Markkanen. Because if they were, they would have. Look, Pod was good, but he wasn't untradeably for a real all-star level good. Right? And Lauri Markkanen isn't, he's not 32. Right? Like, he's still young, right? And look, I like Pod. I thought he did a great job, but if you could turn him and even less picks to go get Lauri Markkanen. If you were that serious about getting Lauri Markkanen, you do it. Right? If you really believe Lauri Markkanen was a serious difference maker, then you do it. Right? This, to me, just signals that the Warriors weren't serious about going and getting Lauri Markkanen. That they wanted him. Knowing if they could have gotten Lauri Markkanen at their price, they probably would have went and got him. But they don't look at Lauri Markkanen as the piece to just, you gotta go get him by any and all costs. Right? Now, Lauri Markkanen is expected to stay with the Utah Jazz. And problem is, there's a serious chance that Utah might never be able to trade him. Seriously, because, again, he's not without his flaws. But the reason he was so attractive was because he's so cheap right now. So teams could go and trade for him without having to sell the farm, at least player-wise, and, still maintain a very good, deep, talented roster while also bringing in an all-star level player and, kind of give you that significant upgrade. But personally, look, I'm fine with the Warriors not trading for Lauri Markkanen, right? Like, me saying, they don't seem serious to me is not a knock. Like, I don't think that they should have traded for Lauri. I just don't think Lauri Markkanen is, the juice is worth the squeeze. Again, Lauri Markkanen, I think, is an excellent player. I think he's an excellent talent, right? But, again, he's not without his flaws. The most games he has ever played in his career is 68 games. The second most were 66, which were 2 years ago. This guy cannot stay healthy, cannot stay on the basketball court. He's worth more than the 18 million he's making right now. But he's not worth 40 plus million like he's going to get. Look at Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine has zero market right now. Why? Because he's 40 plus million and he's injury prone. He's an excellent talent. Was an all-star, just like Lauri Markkanen was. An absolute bucket getter. He played 25 games last year and still gave you a 50 piece. And no one wants to touch him. Even with rumors of Chicago potentially giving assets up to take him, nobody wants to touch him. Lauri Markkanen might be in the same boat. Now, I think, the fact that he's 7 feet and he is so efficient and he's off ball, I do think he has more value than Zach LaVine. But how many teams are going to be willing to trade 40 plus million to go get Lauri Markkanen if the guy can't stay healthy and play more than, 68 games at best? Again, that was his rookie season. He's not been this man, he just had a bad season last year and only played fit. No, and I've seen people try to defend like, oh, well, Utah was trying to tank last year. Utah didn't sit Lauri Markkanen because they wanted to tank. They sat Lauri Markkanen because he got hurt, and they just didn't rush him back. There's a difference, right? It's not like Lauri Markkanen was fully healthy, and Utah was like, hey, man, we need you to sit this one out. No, it was he got hurt, and it was like, hey, you know how you're supposed to come back this week? Tell you what, take another week, right? So, again, he hasn't been this great model of health, and he's being paid as if he is a number one or number two option. I don't think he's a number one or number two option. I don't. I think he is a third option, right? I think that, maybe under the right circumstances with enough talent around, right? Could you maybe win, right? Like the Warriors, for example, right? If, say, Steph is still great and he is that just top, 15 player in the league or whatever, and then, Jonathan Kuminga takes the next step. And, Andrew Wiggins can kind of get back to a version of 2022, right? And Pod and all these guys. And, it's just collectively, plus Lauri Markkanen, who's really a 3, and just Steph's just greatness. Could they, stumble into another championship? Sure, right? Like, genuinely, of course, right? Because, again, you look at teams like the Bucks when they won. Yes, they had Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, but neither was really a number 2 guy. Both guys were really number 3 guys, but Giannis was just so great that year. But not only did you have Giannis, you had your 2 basically number 3 guys who, equate to essentially number 2. But you also had, Brook Lopez and how great he was that year, and guys like Bobby Portis and all that, right? Like, it was the collection, and then on top of that, you add in Giannis's greatness. Denver, when they won the championship, right? It was like Jamal Murray, like, is he good enough to be a number 2, right? Is he going to be, and, he was good, but he wasn't like, oh my God, good outside of that Lakers series. So you look at that, but it was like KCP, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., right? Like, all these guys were just so good. Even Bruce Brown that year was excellent for them in the playoffs, right? So you add in all the pieces together, and you add in the greatness that is Jokic, and now you look and you go, oh, okay, that makes sense. So could the Warriors have done something like that with Lauri Markkanen? I think it's very possible, but I don't think the Warriors are a Lauri Markkanen away from being a true contender, right? Could they have, a puncher's chance? Could they stumble into, the right matchups or whatever, and, all of a sudden they're in the finals? Sure, right? Like, I'm not going to, look or not be that naive to just say, oh no, they have no shot. But you got to look at the situation here, and it's like, and this is why I've talked about, like, just trade Steph. Seriously, if you're the Warriors, trade Steph, right? Because you want to keep your young talent. Fine, you should want to keep your young talent. They have good young talent, but like, they're trying to kind of be 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? They're kind of like, oh, we're trying to get a guy, but we also don't want to give up our young talent. Like, you gotta pick a lane. You're either willing to sacrifice and do whatever's necessary to go get, multiple guys or a guy or whatever to give Steph one more quality chance, or you're looking to unload Steph to add assets and young talent to the roster, right? I mean, even if Steph tells them, like, hey, you know what? I'm fine. Even if we are terrible, I still want to stay a Warrior, right? Like, I still think you trade Steph, right? Like, because you got to do what's best for the organization. And I just think what's best for the organization right now is you have all this young talent, build around them. Right? Trade Steph, trade Wiggins, trade everybody that you can trade, and just give the young guys as much burn and opportunity as possible, and see what they can continue to do, how they can continue to grow and develop. Because it's just, I'm fine with them not going after Lauri Markkanen, genuinely. I don't think that was the best play personally. I would it have made them better? Yes. Would it have made them, a legit playoff team? Yes. Right? But would it have made them a true contender? Like, would they have been one of the top 3 to 5 teams in the league? No. No. Lauri Markkanen wasn't going to make them that much better. Right? But he would have made them better. And so I like the idea of going after it. But now, he's sticking around with Utah. And Utah's going to have to, now Utah's got to figure out what do they want to do? What direction do they want to go? How do they want to approach this? Right? What's the plan here? Because it's going to be interesting, right? And, if Utah wants to trade Lauri Markkanen, I don't know if they're going to be able to, genuinely. Unless he plays 80 games this year, or 75 or something like that. I don't know what teams are going to be willing to trade for a $40 million Lauri Markkanen. I don't even think teams should have traded for an $18 million Lauri Markkanen because he would have been $40 million. Now, if Lauri Markkanen was willing to do, 4 years, $100 million or something like that, then sure, you do that all day, right? Or even $30 million. Sure, you do that all day. But at $40 million, for me personally, it's just tough. It is. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think, Got to feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, tough, can't do it? Do you think the Warriors dropped the ball? Do you think that they should have traded for Lauri Markkanen? Or do you think, they kind of dodged a bullet there? It's good. It's fine. It's okay. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.